Caillou, my imaginary friend. Caillou was playing with his friend George. Caillou really liked George. He was lots of fun and liked to do all the things Caillou liked to do. But no one else had ever seen George. George was special because he was imaginary and only Caillou knew him. "Hey George, let's race," Caillou said suddenly. Mummy and Grandma watched from the kitchen window. Caillou and George were having lots of fun. "Okay, let's race to the barrel. Ready, set, go!" Caillou shouted and ran across the yard. Caillou ran so fast he bumped into the barrel. I won, he cheered. Suddenly, there was a crash. Caillou looked around. The flower pot that was on top of the barrel had fallen to the ground. "Oops," said Caillou, looking down at the mess. Just then Rosie called to Caillou. It was lunchtime. Caillou was worried about what had just happened, but ran into the house for lunch anyway. Caillou forgot all about the broken flower pot. Mummy said George could join them for lunch. Caillou talked about how much fun he had playing with his friend. "George can run really fast, but I beat him in a race." "George sounds like fun, Caillou. Does he live nearby?" Grandma asked. I think he lives in our basement." "George is probably my best friend in the whole world," Caillou said excitedly. "Caillou, we've all finished eating and you haven't even touched your food," Mummy said. "Perhaps George could wait outside while you eat your lunch." "Okay, Mummy," Caillou answered. Caillou got up to move George's chair away from the table so his friend could get down. "Thank you, George. Caillou will be out soon," Mummy said to Caillou's imaginary friend. After lunch, Caillou was playing outside again. Daddy was outside too. He was standing by the barrel. "Caillou, would you please come over here for a minute?" Daddy asked. Caillou walked over to him. "Do you know anything about this?" Daddy asked, pointing to the broken flower pot on the ground. Caillou looked down and bit his lip. "George did it, Daddy," he said. "We were racing and he knocked it down." "Are you sure George did this? Did you have something to do with it too?" Daddy asked, in a gentle but serious voice. Caillou nodded. "Yes, Daddy," he whispered. "Well, the next time you play with George, you should both be more careful," Daddy said. "We will, Daddy," Caillou replied. As Caillou held the dustpan, he said, "You know, Daddy, George is a bit clumsy sometimes." Daddy smiled at Caillou and said, "A bit like you and me sometimes, right?" Caillou nodded and smiled back.